There are moments when you feel like a stranger in your own skin. Like the world is watching you, but not one person truly sees you. You've been tested, doubted, broken apart piece by piece, and yet something inside you refuses to die. As if your very existence unsettles people, they can't figure you out. They can't place you in their neat little boxes. You're too raw, too real, too unexplainable. Maybe that's why they keep questioning you like you're some kind of anomaly. Like your blood doesn't run the same as theirs. And maybe it doesn't. You're not here to be ordinary. You're here to burn through every expectation they've placed on you. Watch this video till the end. You need to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe and like if this hits your soul. There's a moment in every life when you realize that the person you thought you were isn't you at all. It's a mask built piece by piece from other people's opinions, expectations, and fears. Since the day you opened your eyes, you've been fed a story about who you're supposed to be. They told you what success looks like, what strength feels like, what happiness should mean. And somewhere along the way, you believed them. You thought their voices were yours, but deep down, you've always felt the quiet ache of something missing, a truth that doesn't fit their script. You've been carrying the weight of lies for years. Lies that told you you're not enough. Lies that told you to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay in line. They convinced you that your worth depends on what you achieve, what you own, or how perfectly you can fit in. And because of these lies, you've buried pieces of yourself just to survive. But here's the thing. That version of you they created is fragile. It breaks under pressure because it was never real to begin with. It was built on someone else's fears, someone else's rules. And you've felt it cracking, haven't you? Every time you've looked in the mirror and wondered why you feel empty, even when you're doing everything right. Every time you've smiled in public, but felt hollow inside. The truth is, you were never meant to be who they told you to be. You are something wilder, something untamed, something they can't predict or control. And that's why they lied, because the real you terrifies them. The real you doesn't need their approval. It's the real you doesn't play by their rules. It's time to face that lie head-on, to strip away every false belief, even if it leaves you standing in the ruins of everything you thought you were. It will hurt. Yes, it will feel like you're breaking. But what's breaking isn't you. It's the cage they built around you. The moment you see the lie for what it is, you start to breathe differently. You realize that you don't have to be who they told you to be. You don't have to carry their expectations like chains around your neck. You can drop them, all of them, and walk out into the world as something raw, something real. And when you do, the weight you've been dragging for years will vanish. You'll see yourself clearly, not as who they wanted, but as who you were, always meant to be. There are wounds that no one else sees wounds. You carry silently because the world doesn't care to ask how deep they run. You've been hurt in ways that words can't explain. Maybe it was the betrayal of someone you trusted, the failure you never saw coming, or the heartbreak that left you questioning your own worth. And while everyone else moves on with their lives, you're left sitting in the ashes of what used to be, trying to understand why it all had to happen to you. But pain has a language of its own. It speaks to you in the quiet moments, forcing you to confront the parts of yourself you've ignored. You've felt it, that ache that doesn't let you rest. It's the memory that won't fade, the heaviness that makes even breathing feel like a battle. You hate it. You want to erase it. But what if I told you that pain is not here to destroy you? Pain is fuel. It's fire waiting to be lit. Every heartbreak, every failure, every betrayal has left behind a spark. But most people smother that spark because they don't want to feel it. They bury their pain with distractions, with excuses, with walls so high they forget there's light on the other side. And in doing so, they lose the one thing that could make them unstoppable, the energy born from their own suffering. You have a choice. You can let the pain crush you, or you can turn it into something unbreakable. Let it teach you. Let it harden the parts of you that were too soft. Let it show you how strong you truly are when there is no one left to carry you. You don't need to run from it anymore. Sit with it. Let it burn through the lies you've been told about your limits. Because pain, when embraced, transforms into power. It forces you to rebuild, not as the same fragile version of yourself, but as someone sharper, wiser, more dangerous in the best possible way. The fire it creates inside you is not for revenge, not for proving anyone wrong, but for proving something to yourself, that you can rise again, even when there's nothing left but ashes. And when you rise from that fire, the world will look at you differently. Not because you're louder or stronger on the outside, but because something inside you will radiate a kind of strength that cannot be faked, a strength born from pain and turned into fire. There is a moment when you realize that your words no longer matter to those who have already decided not to hear you. You could scream, you could explain, you could tear your soul open to make them understand, and still, they would look right through you. That's when silence becomes more powerful than anything you could say. It's not the silence of giving up. It's the silence of taking your power back. You've spent too much of your life trying to prove yourself to people who were never listening. You argued, explained, begged to be seen, but all it did was drain you. Words can be weapons, yes. They can also be traps, because every time you speak to someone who doesn't value your voice, you hand them pieces of your energy. Silence, on the other hand, is untouchable. It unnerves them. It forces them to face themselves. When you stop explaining, they have nothing to fight against. When you stop reacting, their power over you dies. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means control. It means you've realized that you don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. You don't have to defend every wound they try to open. Silence makes people uncomfortable, especially those who rely on your reaction to validate their own power. It's a mirror, and when they see nothing reflected back, they're left with only their own emptiness. Win. Not by shouting louder, but by saying nothing and watching the weight of your absence speak for you. This kind of silence is not passive. It's sharp. It's intentional. It's the moment you stop bleeding energy into people who feed on it. And it's not just for them, it's for you. In silence, you hear your own thoughts again. You realize which battles are worth fighting and which are nothing but distractions. You begin to see that the real war was never about proving your worth to them, it was about proving it to yourself. So the next time someone tries to pull you into a storm, stand still. Say nothing. Let your silence rise like a wall they can't climb. Watch how it burns them without a single word. That's the kind of strength they'll never understand. Because silence, when chosen with purpose, is louder than any voice. It's the sound of someone who has nothing left to prove. It's the moment you reclaim yourself. There's a point in life where you realize how much of yourself you've given away just to feel accepted. You change your voice, your opinions, even your dreams, all for a nod of approval from people who barely understand you. And yet, no matter how much you bend, it's never enough. They always want more. More of your time, more of your energy, more of your soul. You end up living for their applause while slowly losing the sound of your own heartbeat. This is how they keep you weak. They make you believe that your value comes from their recognition. That if they don't see you, you don't exist. For a long time, you've played their game. You've measured your worth by their reactions, their opinions, their silence. But what happens when you decide you don't need their permission anymore? What happens when you stop chasing validation and start walking your own path, even if no one claps? That's when you become untouchable, because the world can only control what it can manipulate. Validation is their favorite weapon. It's how they keep you doubting, begging, proving. The moment you let go of that need, you become something they can't define, something they can't reach. It won't be easy. There will be moments where you'll feel the pull, that instinct to check if they approve of your choices, that fear of standing alone. But you have to remind yourself, the version of you they liked wasn't even real. It was a performance. It was you wearing a mask just to feel accepted. And masks might win applause, but they don't bring peace. The real power comes when you can look at yourself without the noise, without the opinions, and know that you're enough. You don't need their yes anymore. You don't need their recognition to breathe. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop seeking validation, you don't become cold. You become free. Their judgment no longer stings. Their opinions no longer chain you down. You rise above it, untouchable, because your worth no longer depends on anything they can give or take away. So, the next time the world tries to pull you back, remember this. You were never meant to live for their approval. You were meant to own your voice, your truth, your fire. And once you do, nothing they say can break you again. There's a silence that comes when the noise of the world fades, when the people you thought would stay have left, and the path you're on no longer has footsteps beside yours. At first, that silence feels unbearable. It feels like rejection, like something is wrong with you. You wonder why no one chose to stay, why the calls stopped, why you're the one sitting in the dark while everyone else seems to have somewhere to belong. But here's the truth. Solitude is not punishment, it's a mirror. When no one else is around, you're forced to face yourself. There are no voices to drown out your thoughts, no distractions to hide from the questions you've been avoiding. That's why being alone feels so heavy, because it shows you exactly who you are without the masks you wear for others. Most people run from that silence. They fill it with noise, with meaningless connections, with anything that keeps them from feeling truly alone. But if you're brave enough to sit with it, to truly walk alone, you discover something that the world can't teach you. You discover strength that doesn't come from being understood, but from being unshaken by misunderstanding. Discover clarity that doesn't come from noise, but from the quiet realization of who you are when no one's watching. Walking alone will test you. There will be days you'll question if you're on the right path, days where the emptiness feels like it's closing in. But this is where transformation happens. Solitude strips away the need for validation, for comparison, for approval. In this space where no one is clapping for you, that you build the kind of strength no one can take from you. The strongest version of you is born in those moments of quiet rebellion. When you choose to keep walking, even when there's no hand to hold, no voice telling you you're doing the right thing. You become your own anchor, your own storm, your own home, and then something shifts. The silence no longer feels like emptiness, it feels like freedom. You realize you were never truly alone because the version of you that's been waiting to emerge has always been there, buried under the noise. Walking alone doesn't make you broken, it makes you whole. So don't fear the road without company. It's the road where you'll finally meet yourself, and once you do, you'll never be afraid of walking alone again. Fear has a way of showing up when you least expect it. It sits in your chest like a weight, whispering reasons why you shouldn't. Try, why you shouldn't take the next step, why failure is waiting just around the corner. Most people spend their whole lives running from it, thinking that fear is proof they're weak or not ready. But what if fear isn't your enemy? What if it's the only thing in this world that knows exactly where your true limits are and dares you to cross them? Think about it. Fear only appears when something matters. You don't feel fear when you're standing still, when you're safe, when you're doing what you've always done. Fear rises when you're about to step into the unknown. When you're standing on the edge of who you are and who you could become. That's not weakness. That's a signal. Fear is pointing to the places where you can grow. The problem is, you've been taught to avoid it. You've been told to stay comfortable, to stay safe, to never take risks. And so when fear shows up, you freeze or run, and every time you do, you shrink a little more. But if you stop running and face it head on, you'll realize something life-changing. Fear is a teacher, brutal, unrelenting teacher, but the kind that transforms you if you're willing to listen. When you walk through fear, you discover parts of yourself that were always there, waiting for you to show up. Strength you didn't know you had, clarity you didn't know you could see. You realize that fear was never trying to break you, it was trying to show you what you're capable of once you refuse to be controlled by it. It won't be easy. Fear will shake you. It will scream that you're not ready. But the truth is, you'll never feel ready. Readiness doesn't come before you act. It comes after you've gone through the fire, survived. You have to stop waiting for the fear to go away. It won't. But you can walk with it, can let it sharpen you instead of paralyze you. And when you do, something incredible happens. The fear that once held you hostage becomes the fuel that propels you forward. Fear is not there to stop you. It's there to test you, to shape you, to force you into the version of yourself that only appears when everything is on the line. And when you realize this, fear loses its power. Stop being afraid of it and start learning from it. There comes a moment when you realize no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you've been dreaming of. You could wait years for someone to finally see your worth, for the world to open a door, for the right moment to appear, and still nothing would change. Because the truth is brutal. No one will give you permission to rise. You have to take it. For too long, you've been told to wait your turn, to play small, to be grateful for the scraps you're given. You've been made to believe that asking for more is selfish, that standing tall is arrogant, that wanting to be seen is wrong. And maybe you've believed them. Maybe you've let that voice sink in so deep that you've stopped trying altogether. But listen to me. The world doesn't reward silence. It doesn't care about the ones who wait politely at the back of the line, hoping to be chosen. Power isn't handed out like a gift. It's claimed by the ones who decide they're done being invisible. There's a fire in you that's been smothered for years. There's a voice that's been silenced by doubt, by fear, by the weight of what everyone else expects. It's time to rip the tape off. It's time to stop asking for a place at their table and build your own. Rising without permission doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop letting their opinions dictate who you're allowed to be. It means you stop apologizing for existing, for wanting, for fighting. It means you take the hits, the rejections, the failures, and you use them as bricks to build something that no one can take away from you. You will face resistance. They will try to push you back into silence because your rise will make them uncomfortable. They'll call you too much, too loud, too ambitious. Let them. Their discomfort is proof you're doing something right. The moment you stop waiting for their approval, you become unstoppable. Because you finally understand that no one else holds the pen to your story. You do. And if you don't write it, someone else will, and they'll write you small. So rise. Not when they say you can, not when they finally see your value. Rise now, even if your hands are shaking, even if you feel like the ground is crumbling beneath you. Because the world doesn't belong to the ones who wait for permission. It belongs to those who create their place. No matter how many doors are slammed in their face, there is a moment when everything you thought you were, everything you built, everything you held on to, which shatters. You're left staring at pieces of a life you no longer recognize. It feels like failure, like the universe has stripped you down to nothing, and maybe it has. In those moments, you don't just lose things, you lose parts of yourself. The plans you made, the future you imagined, gone. And the silence that follows is terrifying. But here's what no one tells you. There is power in being broken down to nothing. It's because when you have nothing left to fear. There's a strange freedom in it, a clean slate. A chance to start again without the weight of everything you thought you had to be. Rebuilding from nothing is brutal. It forces you to face the truth of what really matters and what never did. It strips away every false layer, every piece of approval you once depended on, every mask you wore to fit into places that were never meant for you. In that emptiness, you begin to see yourself clearly for the first time. The climb back is slow, and it will test every ounce of your strength. There will be days when you feel like you can't take another step, when it feels easier to stay broken. But those are the moments that shape you. Every step you take, every piece you put back together, is building a version of you that's stronger, sharper, and impossible to break the same way twice. And here's the secret: when you rebuild from nothing, you don't just get back what you lost. You build something new, something that is entirely yours. A life that isn't shaped by fear or by what they told you you should want, but by the fire that burned inside you when you had nothing else. People will look at you and wonder how you survived. They won't see the nights you spent doubting yourself, the times you wanted to quit, the weight you carried alone. But you'll know. That knowledge will become your power. Because once you've rebuilt from nothing, you'll no longer fear losing it all again. You know, you can rise from the ashes. You've done it before, and that makes you unstoppable. There's a quiet kind of strength that no one celebrates. It's not loud or glamorous. It doesn't look like victory or success. It's the kind of strength that's built in the shadows. The strength of simply not giving up when every bone in your body wants to collapse. Endurance isn't about winning. It's about lasting. It's about waking up on the days when your heart feels like it's carrying stones and saying, "I'll try again." It's holding on when there's nothing left to hold on to. And the truth is, no one applauds endurance. They don't see the nights you've cried alone, the mornings you forced yourself out of bed, the battles you fought in silence. But endurance isn't about them. It's about you and what you've become in the process of. Refusing to quit, the hardest part of endurance is that it feels invisible. It's not as exciting as the big victories, and it doesn't give you instant results. It's like climbing a mountain in the dark with no idea how far you've come or how far you have to go. Every step feels endless. But every single step matters. Every single step is proof that you're stronger than the pain trying to break you. People think strength is about force, about fighting hard and winning fast. But real strength is built in the slow grind, in the moments when you keep moving even when there's no sign of light. It's the patience to outlast the storm, to keep walking until the ground beneath your feet shifts and you realize you're not in the same place anymore. Endurance teaches you something no victory ever can, that you are capable of surviving more than you thought. It teaches you that pain doesn't last forever, but the strength you build by enduring it does. The truth is, life will test you. It will push you to your limits and then push harder. But if you can endure, if you can hold on when everything inside you screams to let go, you'll find a version of yourself that no one can take away. The version of you that knows pain doesn't define you, but how you endure it does. When you look back, you won't just see the battles you've won. You'll see the nights you survived, the moments you didn't break, the times you stood tall when no one was watching. And that quiet strength, that's what will carry you through. Every storm still to come, there's a part of you that you've spent your whole life trying to hide. The part that's angry, the part that's broken, the part that remembers every betrayal, every time you were underestimated, every time you had to swallow your pain and keep moving. You've been taught to silence that side of you, to smile when you want to scream, to pretend you're fine when inside you're burning. But here's the truth no one tells you. The darkness within you is not your enemy. It's your rawest power. It's the side of you that knows how to survive when everything else falls apart. It's the voice that rises when you've had enough, when you're done being walked on, when you refuse to stay small for anyone ever. Again, you don't need to fear that darkness. You need to own it, because the world will try to use it against you. They'll say you're too much, too intense, too hard to handle. They'll want you soft, quiet, easy to break. But the part of you that carries your scars, your fire, your rage, that's the part that will carry you through when no one else can. Owning your darkness doesn't mean becoming cruel or bitter. It means no longer apologizing for your strength. It means embracing every part of your story, even the chapters you wish you could erase, and using them to build something unshakable. You've been through things that could have destroyed you, and yet here you are. That darkness you carry, it's proof that you survived. It's proof that you can walk through fire and come out sharper, stronger, and more dangerous than before. The world wants you to believe that light is the only answer. But what they don't tell you is that your power comes from both the light and the dark. Your softness and your steel. Your hope and your fury. So stop running from it. Stop pretending you're only made of the parts that are easy to love. The dark within you is not weakness. It's your edge. It's what sets you apart. And when you own it, when you stop hiding the fire that scares them, you become unstoppable, because nothing and no one is more powerful than someone who has made peace with their shadows.